Is there a diet, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting? What would you say, we should be doing if we want to prevent this?
And again, it's part of the overall piece that you need to look at what's driving the problem. So for some people, it's going to be very important. Some people, not quite as important. But yes, the biochemistry that needs to be addressed by the diet is, number one, you need to get people into mild ketosis. That's 1 to 4, what they call millimolar beta-hydroxybutyrate. So a little bit of ketosis is helpful. And why? Because your brain runs on only 2 different types of energy: glucose, ketones. As we get older, we lose the ability to do both. And people with Alzheimer's tend to have lost both. They have the insulin resistance that means that they don't use glucose well. And by the way, the PET scans, that's exactly what they show, that the brains don't use glucose well, but they're also not keto adapted. They're not making and using ketones. So that's the first piece. It should be plant rich. Doesn't have to be just plants, but plant rich for all the phytonutrients, should be high fiber, and should be colorful, and should be associated with a period of fasting that allows you to be metabolically flexible. And that means able to burn glucose, able to burn ketones. Most people, as I mentioned, who have Alzheimer's or pre-Alzheimer's are unable to burn either of those.
Last time you were on, you mentioned coffee. My husband gave it up for, I don't know why, but he started to resume because of the brief conversation we had. But coffee could be good.
Absolutely. And some beautiful work out of University of Florida has shown that, in fact, coffee, it reduces your likelihood of developing Alzheimer's. So, yes, it's got some issues. It can be stressful for your adrenals. It can interfere with your sleep, of course. But it does, in terms of just epidemiology, it is associated with a lower likelihood of developing Alzheimer's disease.
Women get it more often than men, at least in America. Yes. And I was sitting there getting my hair done before the show today, and I was breathing in all the toxins from the hairspray and the other products that she uses. And I was like, this is why. This is why. And I was like, we should do a study to see whether news anchors or actresses or people who have to get their hair done or women who work in hair salons get it more often than women just who have naturally gorgeous hair and don't need all that nonsense. I'm telling you, it's like the toxins. That's what I'm going for, the toxins. And also, why the women?
It's a great point. And as Maria Shriver has told us for years, this is a woman-centric disease, almost 2 to 1. About 65% of the patients are women, and about 60% of the caregivers are women. So this is a huge issue. And part of the reason may be because of the rapid hormonal change during menopause, where you lose estradiol rapidly, because estradiol does have a beautiful anti-Alzheimer effect. And as you indicated, exposure to toxins, we've been very surprised at how commonly toxins are one of the important contributors to cognitive decline that turns out to be associated with Alzheimer's disease. So yes, you may be right. Maybe time for you to write a paper on that.
I mean, it's just going to have flat hair. What about drinking? I mean, we always joke like, oh, I killed some more brain cells. Are you actually killing brain cells? I mean, are you killing the things that help memory and, that you'll need to stave off dementia?
Yeah. And so as with so many other things, there's a positive and a negative. Yes, no question, ethanol is a neurotoxin. So unfortunately, when we drink, yes, we can damage some neurons as well as other things. But it would also, in general, when people are drinking, it's relaxing them. Lower stress is better. People who are drinking tend to have a little better, cleaner vasculature. So there's both sides here. But overall, yes, you don't want to be drinking to the extent that it impairs your cognition.
How do you find out if you're somebody who has inflammation, right? I think most of us, especially all my women friends, we all feel inflamed at the end of the day. You look good in the morning. You're like, I'll go to the beach now. If somebody told you had to go to the beach at 11 p.m., you'd be like, hell no, right? So does that mean we have inflammation, or is that just being a human?
Great point. So, we all know when you turn 50, what do? You go get a colonoscopy. So if you're 45 or over, you should get a cognoscopy. Blood tests, simple online cognitive test. And then if you have symptoms, you want to include an MRI with volumetrics to look at the various regions of your brain. But if you're asymptomatic and just for prevention, don't need to do that third part. Everyone should do this. When you do this, you look at blood tests, unfortunately, many of these not being done by doctors who are treating Alzheimer patients, but they tell you if you have inflammation or if you have insulin resistance. And as an example, there are multiple ways to look at inflammation. HSCRP is the one you want. It's the simplest, quickest. This is high sensitivity C-reactive protein. It's made in your liver, and it is something that responds to inflammation.
I'm writing that down right now. HSCRP blood test. Okay, I don't know whether I've ever had that done, but I did take the cognitive test on your website. Is it your website? Yeah, I think it's yours. This morning, Apollo. That's you, right?
Yeah, I'm a consultant for Apollo. That's correct.
Okay, so I took your cognitive test this morning, and it's actually kind of fun. I recommend people go there and do it. It took 10 minutes, and you're basically just pressing shift or enter and like sort of saying yes or no to the questions. But so I came out average, which I was like, okay, I'll take average. I definitely did not think I was above average when it came to my memory, but it's always been weak. So when your memory's always been kind of weak, like, do you forget long ago memories? Yes, but my whole life I have, I mean, I didn't have that many long ago when I was 25, but I've never been good at remembering the specifics of stories from long ago. I just have always had a bad memory. So what does that tell me? And being average at 51, what does that tell me?
Yeah, well, of course, first of all, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing without being very sharp. But each of us has different, as we all know, we all have different challenges and we all have different strengths. And what you're describing is common. You're saying that memory has not been your strong suit since you were younger. And so that's a very important point, because what we're looking for, which is again why everyone should have a baseline if they're 45 or over, is that we want to know change. And so we've had an example for one example where a guy who was the math champion of his entire state began to have very significant dementia. And his wife took him in to see a neuropsychologist who said, "Oh, great news. You're scoring in the 50th percentile, so you have no problems." And his wife said, "Are you kidding? This guy, it was a genius. He has fallen so far from where he was." So you want to know, have things changed? And this is unfortunately when the first test you ever take, you won't know that. You need to go, you need to go several times over time to know whether things have changed. But by the way, there are things you can do to strengthen your memory. Part of this is about performance. This is not just about decline. It's also about having all of us perform better.
Samantha from Arcadia, California is as excited as I am about Genucel's transformative results. She says, "I love Genucel plant stem cell therapy. I've used it all over my face, under my eyes, and it cleared up the dry flakiness, even reducing my forehead lines. Someone even asked if I had work done. Nope, just Genucel," she writes. Thank you. Genucel has sold over 1 million products to women and men across this country. Fine lines, forehead wrinkles, dark spots, sagging jawlines, even those annoying bags and puffiness under your eyes, gone without risky or invasive procedures. And with its immediate effects product, there are guaranteed results in as little as 12 hours or your money back. See the difference for yourself with 65% off their most popular packages at Genucel.com. Right now, their most popular packages, which is all their best products, includes a free month supply of the original Genucel under eye bags and puffiness treatment. Visit Genucel.com/MK. Enter MK at checkout to make sure you get that discount. Order today and get their Summer Essential Dark Spot Corrector absolutely free. Go to Genucel.com/MK60. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. Genucel.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.